welcome back. And if it's not welcome back, subscribe so next time it is. Hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. In this video, I'm going to read a Poppy interview, and there'll probably be another Poppy interview in the next video because there's another interview and I'm going to record it straight after this. I just want to say that it's currently January 1st and I didn't really say it, I think, in any videos, and I'm not sure when this is coming out, but I hope that you had a great new year and I hope that you have a great 2021. Let's get into the video. This interview is by Spin. It's called Exit Interview Poppy on Cancelled Tours, the new sonic vibe of her next LP. Pop metal singer reflects on 2020 details completely different approach of her I Disagree follow-up. It says, Poppy vividly remembers her 2020 Mission Impossible moment. The pop metal shapeshifter was gearing up for a European tour behind her acclaimed January LP I Disagree when her manager broke some unfortunate pandemic-related news. I know I've just died, but it's interesting. I was going to say that we're never going to really see I Disagree toured, but I guess we will because I think she rescheduled them. Maybe she'll do like two albums in one tour. Something. I got the call right when I was about to fly over there, she tells Spin. We were like, do you think we can get in and out, just do the UK and come home? It was maybe 4 hours later they were like, oh, the borders are closed. That phone call was crazy for me and will always stick in my head. Like most musicians, Poppy suffered some tough breaks this year, including a postponed North American tour opening for metal giants Deftones and Gloria? Don't know how to pronounce it. On the bright side, she was able to flow through the insanity, performing safely on a WWE broadcast, releasing a deluxe edition of her third LP, which still at time of recording this hasn't arrived. Earning a Grammy nomination for Best Male Performance for Blood Money, writing loads of new material and recording a new album, all stuff I wrote within the last 5 months or so, with her touring band. It feels right to me, she says of that music. I've been excited in the past, but this feels special. The singer-songwriter joined Spin to reflect on her chaotic but productive year, the inspiration of David Lynch, her love of professional wrestling, and a new LP that's not like any other Poppy record you've heard before. And this is where it gets into them asking her questions and her answer. Spin, what are you up to? Poppy, I'm just organising my jewellery collection, and then later I'm going into the studio and work on something. Looking back, I'm so glad we got a new album for you before the insanity, the unfortunate event. One unfortunate event was having to cancel your tour with Deftones and Gora. I think I pronounced it differently like 2 seconds ago, but yeah. Which I know you were excited about. When I can acknowledge something sad at the surface, I try not to crack it open and reflect on it from an internal perspective where I'm drowning in my own sorrow and misery. When I got that news, I recognized that it's a sad event. But when I tried to find the positive in it, the positive is that it's being rescheduled to 2021. There you go. So fingers crossed that we are in fact able to do that. When I first heard the news about being able to go on tour, I believe I was doing a couple of press events or shoots. My major called me and I was very excited because I'm a huge fan of Deftones and Borgia. Well, my sister was the one who got me into them when I was pretty small. They're one of her favourite bands, so there was a cool sister moment where I was like, guess what just happened? I was going to say, oh, her sister blank, but let's not go there. Let's not mention her relatives. I'm just looking forward to when I can go on that tour, but also just play music again. I feel like a broken record to keep saying that. All of my friends and my team hear from me almost every day, but I think it could help heal the world. I read this quote from an article with David Lynch, and he believed that the quarantine and lockdown would cause people to be a little nicer by the end of it. I hope so, but I also feel it's made people more aggressive. I was anticipating the extremes, either a softer heart or a colder heart from the general population. I believe we're going to be experiencing the ends of the spectrum when the world returns to some form of normality. Spin said, I didn't know you were a David Lynch fan. What are some of your favourite Lynch projects? He says, I love Blue Velvet and of course Twin Peaks. I myself love Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks. I'm not sure if you can tell, don't know if you know, but I do have a sealed copy of the Twin Peaks vinyl in the background of most of my videos. Are there any other Twin Peaks things? I made a song called Twin Peaks once. But my favourite, going back far in his line of work, is Razorhead, which is so experimental and out there. It's something I return to often when I need inspiration. Razorhead is something. I have it on DVD, VHS, and beta. So yeah, I do enjoy a Razorhead, if that's the word. Interesting film. Definitely not for everyone. He's an artist with no restrictions, and everything he does is a step up from the last thing. Razorhead ages so well, like a fine wine. Does it? I mean, there isn't too much, really. I mean, if you got like a 4K version, it would look nicer. But other than that, there isn't much talking in the entire film, so there isn't much that could really go wrong. It's not like they're using too much technology that's like, oh, why were people using this, it's simplistic and it works. I guess it ages well. You play a lot with dynamic extremes, contrasting the harsh and the soft. Lynch does that a lot visually and thematically, like in Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks, where there's this darkness lurking behind the sheen of American suburbia. So the easiness definitely draws you in. It draws me in personally. I just want to say, I don't know. I feel like I've spoken about David Lynch before and how much I enjoy David Lynch. I could make a whole video about David Lynch. Not that anyone would really be interested, but I do very much appreciate his work. But I won't bore you with that. You're in a weird but unique position this year since I Disagree came out in January before the pandemic had fully wreaked havoc. You were able to roll out the album in a more traditional way and even do some North American touring. She said, it felt like a taste. We were just getting started. I had tours routed for the entire year. I was like, this is great. I'm going to be going the entire year promoting this album. When I was making I Disagree, I was like, this is an album I want to tour for at least a year before I release new music. And this time I've been able to work on music and a bunch of other projects a lot sooner than I was anticipating. If it comes, it comes. Just flow with it. I said, is it more painful that you couldn't finish what you started, or are you thankful that you got a taste of it? I said, I'll keep it on the positive and say I'm thankful I got to do a little. The last show we got to play was in Los Angeles, and it was one of the most fun shows on the tour. If somebody told me it's going to be the last show I play for a year, I don't know if I'd have done anything differently. But maybe I would have cried, like, no way, a whole year? But we went out with a bang. No way. You were able to perform some Scary Mask WWE event in October. How did that feel, getting back out there? She said, I played Scary Mask now twice on Halloween. First time was awesome. That was in the middle of a marathon run, but I absolutely wanted to do it. I played a show and then went to Florida to play Scary Mask. Ran to the airport to fly to London to play an NME event. Came back and played another show to pick up the rest of the tour. It was awesome. I didn't sleep for like 4 days. I played the intro music for Io Shirai, and we've become friends. She's one of my favourite wrestlers now. She had a bit recently where she put a trash can over her head and jumped into a group of girls during a match, which was awesome. I love wrestling, so when I had invitations to come play, I had to do it. That was one of my side dreams from a very long time ago. I wanted to work with WWE. I got the idea after I saw Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman make an appearance on WWE back in the day. They used my music in a video game and for a couple of intro songs, and then invited me to play. I think I've done it 3 or 4 times now before the 2020 appearance. I had to go through some pretty intensive testing and screenings because they ran a very tight ship. Everyone had to wear masks. It was a whole process, but I was cleared, and it happened. Back to music, you talked to Spin back in March and said you were cataloguing layers of sounds. Now that it's been so long ago, is that still where you are creatively? He said, I still intend on releasing what I was doing in March, but it morphed into something else. I actually have my hand in a couple of projects at the moment, but one of them is about 95% done, and I'm itching to release that. About a month ago in LA, I got my touring band together and we got to record a new album. It was a process I'd never experienced, but knew I always wanted to do. It was very organic. I Disagree was written over the span of about a year. It was done in the studio, live guitars and vocals, but everything else in the box. This whole experience and approach was completely new, and the producer is someone I really respect and have wanted to work with for a number of years. I can talk about that at a different point. But I was able to get my band together and learn songs I wrote in a very confined space and time about things that are very close to me. We tracked it all live in a room. It has a completely different sonic vibe. They're doing the last touches now. Did the pandemic inspire any of the new material? There's no mention of quarantine or lockdown or any of those things in the songs. I think we all know where we've all been for the last 9 months. I don't need to beat people over the head about that. We all know what happened. The songs are just very personal to me. They're about a span of 2 years. That's interesting. We all know what happened in the past 2 years. Let's just say it was recently a year since Poppy announced that she had creatively split from Titanium Sinclair. So he's written songs about her, and now she's probably written songs about him. Interesting. And that is the interview. There'll be a link in the description to the interview if you would rather read it in your own time than hear me talk about it for however long this video is. But it was interesting, offered some interesting insights. Poppy's announced a new album. There you go. Don't know where it will be released. Don't know if the I Disagree More vinyl will come out before it's announced. Guess we'll see. But it sounds like there'll be more than just the album. Who knows what, but I will keep you informed. Hopefully you did enjoy. Interesting interview. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, leave a like. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you never miss an upload. And I shall see you soon for more content.